Hey everyone, welcome back. I have Hugo Alonso here and from Stay Winning Podcast. And today we're going to discuss his 3 tips on how to stay winning. Welcome, Hugo.
Hey, what's up, Mark? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I liked it. This is a lot of fun. So far it's going pretty well, I think.
Yeah, so far so good, man. So hopefully we can keep on doing it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out though. But what would be your 3 tips to help people stay winning?
Oh, first of all, anyone that follows me, thank you. I'm happy to see you win. I want to see you win. I know there's a lot of hate in our personal lives, but for those on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, no hate, just love. So thank you for everyone involved in stay winning. So tip number one, I would say, as far as how to stay winning, yeah, there's happiness, yeah, there's money, but I think Mark and I want to get a little deeper into that and break it down. Because yes, money does make me happy, and that's how I stay winning. But we want to add value to all you guys, so the conversation will be a little different. So these would be tips outside of money and happiness as far as how to stay winning. I would say the first one is to stop caring what people think.
It's a good one.
Stop worrying about people's opinion of you or of yourself. The only opinion or the only thought that matters is the way you see yourself, how you think of yourself. By personal experience, no one above me has called me a narcissist. Everyone below me has called me a narcissist. So move on, keep pushing forward, stop caring what people think. I would say that's tip number one on how to stay winning. Remain focused on your goals, your mission. Sometimes there's a vision that only you can see, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that's fine. And I'm speaking from personal experience. So if you feel alone in that situation, just know there's someone here that you can relate to and stop caring
Yeah,
what people think.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think a lot of times is you get really focused on a certain goal, right? And that's kind of, same thing. People probably say the same things about me. You kind of get focused. Maybe not hanging around some of the same friends you used to or doing the same things, but you kind of have this vision in mind and people might call you, like you're saying, a narcissist. But yeah, I think this is a great point, like you're saying, not to really worry about what other people are saying about you.
Yeah, for sure. Great value there you added, Mark. I know a lot of people that have stressed or they stress simply just because of the image that they're going to provide to someone else. And at the end of the day, the only image that matters is the one you look at in the mirror. So no need to stress on the thoughts of others. Stress is a happiness killer, and it's probably the number one cause of illnesses out there. So definitely don't waste your time stressing or worrying about what people think. And like you said, Mark, yeah, as far as your circle goes and your friends, there's going to be people that you outgrow, and that's fine. It's normal. I'm in my 30s, and I can say, yeah, I've already lost friends, and that's fine. And I'm happy to lose more if that's what it takes for me to get to where I need to get to. Not necessarily me stepping over them or pushing them out of the way, but you want to surround yourself with people that are on the same journey as you and have the same destination, and they're going to keep pushing you forward to get to that destination, and I'll hold you back.
Yeah, it's funny you kind of mentioned that. I want to touch on that real quick. So, do you consider these people still friends, or is it more like they don't consider you a friend? Maybe kind of like a different way that people look at it.
Man, I would say I wouldn't consider them friends anymore,
Oh, really? Hmm.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a tricky one because there's definitely, I think maybe because it's in Hawaii, we're on an island, everyone, it's such a small community kind of thing. I think
yeah.
it's one of those where these people are always going to be my friends, and like I don't see them as much, I don't hang out with them, maybe different goals, different visions, but that's kind of the tricky part to it is, we still see each other, we still run into each other. It's just, we don't have the same goals in mind anymore. But that's interesting that you said that.
Yeah, I mean, I know it goes both ways, but I think if I was to pick one, that would be the one I'd pick. Um, so yeah, that's a great example, right? In Hawaii, it might be a little different because you see these people every day. So maybe you can relate to Mark's response based on where you're at, or you can relate to my response. I have no problem cutting people off cold turkey. I have no problem burning bridges. There's always new bridges to build, more people to meet. The more you move up, the less people there is. Um, I know the saying is it's lonely at the top. That's not necessarily the case. It's very exclusive at the top. So the
Yeah,
journey.
yeah, because a lot of people that do reach financial freedom and they talk about like, maybe they're retired, they retire young, retire early, and they're like, there's not a lot of their friends are able to go, have, leave work and go have lunch with them or go play golf or, just have coffee, right? So it's kind of like you say, it's a different crowd that you might be around at a certain point.
Yeah, yeah. And I see that. My girl works at a hair salon and ladies come in and get their hair done every day just because they're retired and there's nothing else to do. And I'm like, wow, what a luxury for someone to wash your hair and style it every day.
They come in every day?
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
that's how they live in their retired life, you know.
Oh
I
man.
just wake up and I guess it's true what they say, you go to the salon to socialize, but paying $60 for a blow dry or whatever is every day. I mean, that's
Oh,
cool. It keeps people employed, right?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, there is sometimes I see that where my girls goes, why do you want to retire so early? Like, who are you gonna hang out with? I'm like, I want to hang out with myself. I don't care. If I
You
want to
know,
go travel to Greece
yeah.
by myself, there's gonna be other people in Greece that are traveling. I'll meet them. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna wait around for people that I grew up with to get a day off, to find a babysitter, to save money. Like, if I want to go, I'm gonna go. And it's by myself. Oh, who are you gonna go with? I'll just meet people there. There's gonna be other people there that I may be able to relate to even more that don't have to worry about those things like getting a day off or, you know.
Yeah, you might hold like a stay winning event or something, right? Like in Greece or something.
Oh, wow, that'd be great. Yeah, timestamp
Yeah.
this, people, screenshot this, and then remind me down the line, call me out if there isn't one.
Well, that was a great first tip. So I'm interested to hear what other two you have now.
Oh yeah, man. I'm a little passionate about this topic. My whole brand is to stay winning, and help people stay winning. And it's more than just money and real estate and crypto and personal finance. It all starts with the mindset. Rich is a mindset first before an actual bank account number, an actual bank account balance. So I think that's what we're talking a little bit about today. So great questions. But yeah, I'm passionate about this topic. So thank you for bringing that up. And I hope people listening find value in it, and maybe, start thinking more positively if they're in a rut. But yeah, we can move on to question two, unless you want to add a little more.
No, I'm ready to hear your next one.
Yeah. All right. So just for the sake of the video, repeat the question again, please.
What is your top three tips for to stay winning? So we did tip number one, and now what is tip number two?
Yeah. So that was tip number one. Tip number two would be to delay instant gratification. I know it's cool when you're 21, you're legal of age. I know it's cool to get a brand new car, put rims on it, have a convertible, have enough seats for girls or guys or whatever you're into. That's all cool, but delay instant gratification. There's no need to go get in debt for $50,000 on a brand new car, or anything else that's a liability, like designer clothes or sneakers that are just hyped. Within a year, they're worth less than the hype. So delay instant gratification. I know that's very, very tough nowadays in the age of social media. And I know there's a direct correlation between depression and the time that's spent on social media. Social media, I believe, was introduced to smartphones around 2008, 2009. Ever since then, you can see the increase in depression as well. Um, so yeah, there is a lot of good things from social media, but there's also a lot of negative. So if you're taking something from this, produce versus consume, at least try to mostly, or be aware of what you consume. So if you're consuming this, thank you. I hope it's positive for you. That's our message here. But delay instant gratification. No need to buy, an expensive car, expensive clothes, expensive bag, or pop bottles every weekend just to flex and pretend you have it. Um, if you see people traveling, just know a lot of times they're probably still living with their parents, so they don't have it the way they show they have it. And if that's the case, they're living 20, 30, 40% higher than their actual income just because there is no housing expense. So, in case you haven't thought about that, I'm throwing that out there. I know people personally that have delayed their success because they couldn't delay instant gratification. So, that includes buying timeshares that are hard to get rid of, that are impacting. And I'm sure you're familiar with that out there, Mark.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's
Yeah.
people that buy timeshares in Hawaii to flex. Oh, we can go to Hawaii 3 times a year whenever we want. And it's like, all right, cool, that's fine and dandy, good for you, but it's not an appreciating asset. It's only taking money out of your pocket. When it comes time for you to settle down and want to provide a roof for your kids, it's going to impact your debt to income ratio. So delay instant gratification would be number two. You definitely don't want to shoot yourself in the foot to prevent you from obtaining something bigger, right? So if you have a $50,000 debt on a car and you're talking about $1,000 payment, well, now you all of a sudden afford $200,000 less on your purchasing power for a home with today's rates or something like that. Something along those numbers, right? Which could either be make or break on a house, depending on the area that you're in, right? So if you're get approved for 400,000, you're in California and you have a car payment, now you shot yourself with that 400,000 and now you can't afford anything because there's nothing for 3 or 200,000 out here. So yeah, delay instant gratification. Trust me, now that I'm in my 30s, it's way cooler to have things now.
Oh
All
yeah.
those things are not going to go away. Vegas is still going to be there. If you want to go to Paris, it's still going to be there. Want to go to LA, it's still going to be there. It's not all that. Trust me. LA
These are
is
all
not all
like
that.
these are all like jabs at me, I think. I mean, like
Nah.
no, I mean, man, like I tell everyone, I easily should be retired by now, and I made a lot of mistakes, and part of it was more that I was super comfortable with where I was at, and I was just coasting along, and I thought I had everything situated. So I even like had a primary residence, I had a great job, great benefits, retirement pension, and
Nice.
I was putting money in my retirement account. So
Yeah.
I just thought like, okay, I'm good, and everything else is just blow it now. Like I said, my home gym and supplements and like you said, partying on the weekends. And so there wasn't any like really additional assets that I was buying or putting away extra money. It was just I had this kind of comfortable life. And yeah, so I definitely really understand the difference now of, like you're saying, assets and liabilities. And if I could have delayed that gratification, I'd be in a lot better position than I am now.
Yeah, these are never jabs at you, Mark. Um,
Sure seems like it.
we've all made it's just something I'm passionate about. Um, to stay winning. I want to see people win. That's why we make this content so we can see people win. And just to make it a to be response is, yeah, people like you and me have made mistakes and we learn from them. But if you're watching here, avoid making mistakes and learning from them, and learn from the mistakes of other people. That's including us, and move accordingly. No need to set yourself back by a mistake. Learn from my mistakes, learn from Mark's mistakes, so you avoid the mistake, save yourself some time, save yourself the headache, the stress, the consequences, and keep moving and pushing forward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what this is all about. I mean, I really hope that just maybe one person picks up something and realizes that they can make the changes. And just it's not that hard. I mean, as far as you know changing your mindset a little bit and just understanding a little bit about assets and liabilities and how money works, and just some small changes, and it could really propel you for your financial future. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad I figured this out and it wasn't too late for me. But yeah, this is another good topic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the good one. I'm glad you mentioned all that. This is me knowing people personally that didn't delay instant gratification. So they're flexing their nice cars and their nice clothes and their vacations out throughout their 20s. Now they hit 35 and they want to start a family and they can't because all those purchases have accumulated, all that debt has accumulated. Now there's no purchasing power and the rates keep going up every quarter. So learn from that mistake and don't do it. Stay away from bad debt, stay away from instant gratification. So delayed gratification is really, really tough, but it's really, really worth it.
Yeah. One thing I want to add too, though, is, even so, like in Hawaii, a lot of people take out home equity lines of credit, because they have
Hmm.
a lot of equity in their property. And that's something that, you don't really realize how you use that equity can really set your future up. And before, like I said, I was buying things that were depreciating and wasn't, building any wealth for me. And I didn't take advantage of the equity in my property at the time. So that's another thing I want to add to that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I have that a similar story. I had equity in the home and I took it out, and instead of buying another property, I just party with it, with the wrong people at the wrong places at the wrong time. So, sometimes I think about it, I'm like, well, I could have at least another property or two more properties
Yeah.
or two more sources of income,
Yeah.
right? Thinking I had the equity for one, and maybe that would have built the equity to build another one. Um, but maybe that leads to my third tip,
All right. Yeah.
which
Let's
is
get into it.
taking accountability, right? So taking accountability is recognizing, looking in the mirror and being like, hey, this is where I fucked up. This is where I got to make the changes. We talked a little bit about this on previous episodes, and I tweeted recently. Too many people blame the government for things that are in our control, right? So we were talking about, student loans and the debt and the fees and the government getting involved. And it's like, well, you do have control of where you go to school, right? Like you can go to community college the first 2 years, right? You do have control of what major you decide to do. You have control of not changing your major two additional times after X amount of years. So it's taking accountability. The more you take accountability, the faster you can improve and keep moving forward. So the longer you spend blaming the government or your parents, um, the more time you're wasting on taking the right action to take the next steps to get to your goals. So accountability, or taking accountability, I say, would be my third one for today's topic, today's list on how to stay winning. Noticing, looking in the mirror, facing it, making the adjustments necessary to keep moving forward. So that property I refinance and cash out the money, taking accountability. Now I know, okay, I'm gonna have equity again. I'm not gonna do that again. I'm gonna pull it out and invest in another property or in other cash flowing assets or other appreciating assets.
Yeah. I kind of want to touch on that a little bit. And I'm not too sure, but did your like parents have a big influence on you from a money standpoint, as far, or even like going to college or getting education? Because I see
Hmm.
that as kind of sometimes maybe a little issue, as far as, like, I see it, my parents definitely have this mindset of, you got to go to college, you got to get a W-2 job, you got to put money in your retirement account. And so I feel like that generation, for many of them, have a different mindset towards money and education. And I feel sometimes that's kind of why people are veered toward, taking out college debt or student debt, and going that route.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it is all relatable. And then we're from two different cultures, so you could provide two different perspectives, right? So yeah, the older generation is definitely go to school and work hard. And that's not enough nowadays. Before that was enough because you could have a blue collar job and have one income household and still purchase a nice home with a yard. But now you can't have a one household income and do that. Um, and not most blue collar jobs, not to bash on them, we definitely need them. They don't provide, you can't be a salesman at Sears, well, selling washers and dryers like you could in the 60s and still provide for your family. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying we got to think about those things now. It's like that's not going to provide
Yeah.
for your family the way it once did. Um, Especially now where you need two incomes in a household to even cross the poverty line to the middle class line. Um, so my parents, well, I grew up in a single parent family home, and my mom was from a third world country. So I definitely the way I mentioned it is they come with that third world mentality, right? So yeah, there's a certain way of thinking in the 60s and 70s, but then if you're from a third world country, you got to rewind that back even 30 more years, just based on the evolution of the way the country goes, right? So like in the year 2000, punk rock was in, and then you didn't see punk rock, in some countries in the, south of the border, like become cool in like 2020, right? So just to put in perspective of how delayed that is. But yeah, she definitely said work hard and go to school and save money. Now she's really good at saving money. I'm really bad at saving money. Luckily, she saved a lot of money, or as much as she could, and it was there for emergencies. I'm a really bad saver. I don't know if that comes from me having coming from a family that lacked a lot of money, where it's like, well, I gotta spend it because like I never had it. You know what I mean? But yeah, she did instill in me, go to school and work hard and save your money. I'm telling you now, as a millennial in America, first American born, that's not enough. Invest your money. Don't just save it. Don't necessarily work harder, work smarter. Back then, there was no internet. Now there is internet. You can sleep 8 hours a day. You can work 8 hours a day. The internet's going to work 24 hours a day. Crypto's going to work 24 hours a day. Being a landlord is going to make you money while you sleep. That's 24 hours a day. Like there was no such thing, you know, 40 years ago of that. So don't save, invest. Don't work harder, work smarter. As far as going to school, again, it's on a case by case basis. If you missed it, check out the previous two episodes that Mark and I made. And then from a culture perspective, this is where I think we go wrong in a lot of cases, where I think we could do much better, right? So in a Hispanic culture, oh, $5,000 for a baptism. Oh, quinceañera. Oh, here's another $15,000. Oh, you turn 18, brand new car, here's another $30,000. And all this time growing up, they say, go to school, go to school, go to school. You get into college, and all of a sudden there's no money for school. So that's what I mean with having accountability, and we have control of those choices of where we put the money in, right? Like instead of putting the 5K for a baptism, you could have put the 5K in the 529 plan. Instead of having 15K for a quinceañera or 30K for a brand new car at 18, you know, that was your college money, that was your house down payment. So it's fine to tell your kids to go to school, but have a plan when they do. And then we could avoid a lot of students of having bad debt where they're getting jobs or there's lack of jobs that can't pay for these student loans, and they impact your purchasing power to owning a home. Homeowners have a net worth 40 times greater than those that are not homeowners. And this is a study as of 2019. This study is done every 4 years by the Federal Reserve. So 2023, another study is going to come out. I think that number is going to be greater than 40, just based on the boom that we saw in real estate during the pandemic. So yeah. So to answer your question, Mark, just want to address that additional part. As a culture, I think I see that too many times, and I think we can do better. So if you're going to tell your kids to go to school, have the money for them to go to school, or at least have a plan, so they don't end up 50K, 60K in debt without a solution.
Yeah. It's funny you talked about how you're a bad saver, and I'm a horrible saver too. And like, but like you mentioned, your mom was a great saver, and
Yeah.
my mom is a great saver. So I'm wondering if it's because, like you're saying, they were so good at saving that you almost saw it, and I almost saw it as kind of, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be cutting coupons, and I don't want to be, you know, putting money under my mattress or whatever, right? So I wonder if that's what it is, and we just saw that, and we're like, when I get money, I'm going to spend it, and yeah, I'm a horrible saver too, and but now it's a little bit different. Like it's different saving to buy an asset, whereas before it might have been, you know, I don't want to save this money because I'm not going to put it away for anything. I'm just going to buy what I want right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah, that is very interesting. It could be a lot of reasons, could be a culture thing, could be a generation thing. I mean, in the 80s, you could put a CD and you're getting 17% return. And now you get a CD and you get 5% return. And then what's the point when inflation is 7%?
yeah,
So
yeah.
so that changes too, right? Whatever the rates are, it's like, oh yeah, if I'm getting 17%, then saving is a no-brainer, right? But if I'm getting 0.03%,
Yeah.
saving doesn't really make sense, at least beyond the emergency fund of Dave Ramsey's $1,000, right?
Yeah.
I think beyond that, yeah, the 6 month rule, that's fine too. Um, if you're single, go for 6 months. If you're in a relationship and a dual income household, then 3 months is fine because someone else has your back. But besides that, invest the rest. There's unless like you said, you're buying an appreciating asset, like, oh, there's my emergency savings, right? My $1,000 in case my car bust or whatever. The 6 months in case I lose my job. But beyond that, you save for an appreciating asset or just invest it. At least that's my thought. And I know maybe that wasn't the case in previous generations.
Yeah. Well, once again, amazing advice. I'm sure somebody's going to take advantage of this great information that you've been putting out there. And I'm glad we can keep doing this. And, we'll come up with another great topic for next week.
All right, sounds good, man. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me. Like the video, guys. Subscribe to both of us. Appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah. And follow the tips so you can stay winning.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, man.